Good evening or good early evening, and welcome to the Los Alamitos Unified School District Board meeting on this February 8th. I would like to start by reading meeting information, which says, in accordance with the California Public Health Order, masks are required for all individuals in all indoor public settings, regardless of vaccination status, from December 15th, 2021 through February 15th, 2022. Our meetings are live streamed on YouTube, and I would like to now call the meeting to order. And Mrs. D'Angelo.
Mr. Fayette. Here. Ms. Catulli.
Here.
Mrs. Hill.
Here.
Mr. Forehand.
Here.
Mrs. Davidson.
Here.
Wonderful. We're all here. Thank you. I am going to ask, the next item is usually the adoption of the agenda. And I would like to move item 4, which is public comments, to after item 6. And at that point, and also have a small break between item, which is 4 under 6. Is that right? Correct? Just so that we can take pictures. Do I have a motion?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? So public comment will be moved to after our workshop items. Item 5, I will go ahead, and that item is administrative personnel report. And Dr. Frazier. See, we moved things up on you, Dr. Frazier.
Sorry, I was like, wait, me already? Thank you, Madam President. I just would like to bring forward the administrative personnel report as presented.
Do I have a motion?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 5-0. You will see why we move that up in our agenda shortly. So we are now going to move to our workshop, school reports, and recognitions. And we are so thrilled that we have the Los Alamitos Elementary School here to present this evening, the Blue Ribbon Los Alamitos Elementary School. Mrs. Reed.
Thank you so much, President Hill. It really is my honor to introduce really what is a dynamic duo team at the helm at the home of the Tigers. We're so proud of the work they've been doing, not only from their blue ribbon, but really the environment they create on their school campus. If you visit their school time at any day of the week, you can't help but smile and see the joy on students' faces. And I think that's what makes those Tigers love learning more than anything, is you can tell how cared they are by every member of the Los Alamitos Elementary team. So I'd like to welcome Principal Gary Williams to the podium.
What a good looking crowd we have here tonight. I would like to start off with the Pledge of Allegiance and Aiden Poor.
Hi, my name is Aiden Poor. My teacher is Miss Akins. Put your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Aiden.
Thank you very much. Very nicely done, Aiden. And I would now like to welcome our choir to sing a patriotic song with our music teacher, Miss Karat. I love it.
Excellent job, students. Thank you very much. All verses, very, very impressive.
Let's give one more round of applause for LAE's choir. And our first student speaker is Yannette Antony.
Hello, my name is Yannette Antony, and I am a fifth grade student in Mrs. Paxton's class. There are many amazing events and activities at LAE, such as Fit-a-thon, Trunk or Treat, and OSS. Fit-a-thon is a fundraiser that raises money for our learning experience. After the fundraiser is over, you do a fun obstacle course that earns you tickets for prizes, and you get popsicles afterwards. I loved how we get to do such a fun activity and help the school. In October, LAE hosts Trunk or Treat, a Halloween event. This activity allows kids and parents to be creative with decorating their trunks. It was fun going trick-or-treating with my friends and seeing all the different decorations. You even get unlimited candy. In the winter, fifth grade students take a trip to the OSS. OSS is a 4-day trip where you camp out in the mountains. During the trip, you learn about nature, survival, and teamwork. It's an experience that I will never forget, and I really enjoyed it. My favorite parts were archery and survival skills. As fun as our activities are, our principal, assistant principal, teachers, staff, and PTA make LAE truly the place to be. Thank you for your time.
Well, I'm glad I don't have to speak after that, but let's give a big round of applause for our second student speaker, Zoe Lynn.
Hello, my name is Zoe Lynn. I'm a fifth grader at LAE and my teacher is Miss Akins. I've participated in many programs at LAE that has prepared me for middle school. I'd like to share 3 of them with you today. This year I had an opportunity to participate in student government. Student government is run by Miss Paxton, Miss Namoto, and Miss Namoto. Our motto is see the good, be the good. In student government, we brainstorm ways to make LAE the place to be. We come up with ideas for spirit days. We also helped organize Trunk or Treat and acted as escorts for the Veterans Day Assembly. Student government has prepared me for middle school because it teaches you how to be responsible and be an active part of your community. Last month, I took part in a production called Walk Through the American Revolution. It told the story of the white Tories, redcoats, and the blue rebels. The fifth graders learned about how we won independence from Great Britain. We spent several months memorizing lines. I learned that practicing a little bit each day helped me not be so nervous on the day of the play. My favorite memory of fifth grade was OSS. It was the first time I had been away from my family for so long. We were on a tight schedule and had to manage our time wisely. I had a great time with my friends, learning all about the outdoors. This experience helped me become more independent and learn the importance of having good friends to make memories with. I'm so grateful for all the opportunities that LAE has provided for me, and I'm so excited for middle school next year.
All right, great job, Zoe, and all of our speakers. So between Aiden, Yannette, and Zoe, out of our 117 fifth graders, they were chosen to speak tonight. So let's give them one more big round of applause. And I may be biased, but this is by far my favorite board meeting of the year. So, good evening, Madam President, esteemed members of the board, Dr. Pulver, cabinet, and our Los Al community. It's LAE night. I'm excited to share with you the amazing things going on at Los Alamitos Elementary. As you can tell from our amazing choir and the student presenters, LAE is the place to be. Need the clicker if I'm going to change this. Just like our amazing speakers today, the true celebration for this year is having all of our Tigers back on campus. Last year, we had over 250 Tigers online with Mr. Larson, and we saw the other 450 Tigers for only 3 hours a day. For most of the year, there was no recess, and we never had a lunch. This is a year where we celebrate a return to normal-ish. A return of the smiling Tiger faces, eager to learn and grow socially, emotionally, and academically. A place where a kid can be a kid. And there's no better place to learn and grow than at Los Alamitos Elementary. As Dr. Pulver stated, the federal government finally understands what we all knew. LAE is an incredible school. It is the hard work of our staff, our students, and our families that led to LAE being named a National Blue Ribbon School this year. This is the second time LAE has won the federal government's highest honor, and the first time in the last 21 years. And don't worry, I don't mind starting my own applause. I can't say enough about our staff. Since I started at LAE, I've always said that we have the nicest staff in the world. The last 2 years have proven we also have the most dedicated staff, who will stop at nothing to ensure their students achieve in the hardest of times. The staff at LAE has not just met every challenge they have faced over the last 2 years head on, they have overcome each challenge that has come their way. In a time where all you hear on the news is about learning loss, and how devastating the pandemic is for students' academic achievement, how it will take students years to catch up from all the learning they have lost. Our staff not only kept our Tigers moving forward, but academically, in 5 out of 6 tested areas, our students actually improved. Think about the power of that statement. During a pandemic, our test scores rose, not declined. The last 2 years have really stretched our staff, physically, emotionally, and mentally. The staff at LAE have pushed themselves not because of a district mandate or community pressures, but because they refuse to let our students fall behind in the pandemic. For this, I feel we should all stand and applaud the amazing staff at LAE. You got me, you got me.
Great minds think alike, Dr.
I don't mind cheering twice for our amazing staff. It's because of our staff that our benchmark scores increased 17 points compared to the last time our students took the end of the year standardized testing. Our schools closed March 13th, 2020. School is still not returned to normal, but our students are achieving at higher levels than their peers did prior to the pandemic. In all, this is pretty cool, LAE's test scores have risen 99 points over the last 4 years. This is not just because of our incredible staff, but LAE's true belief in team. Together, everybody achieves more. Our community, students, and staff working together have proven no matter what the challenge, we will always stay focused on what matters most, our students. And I saw you guys at Gate 3 last year. Some of you were dropping off and picking up 6 times for different services and throughout the day. You are truly amazing. You are the best community in the world. Thank you, Juanjet. The true testament of what it means to be a Tiger isn't just looking at academics, however. We teach our students every day the important life skills so that they can achieve socially and emotionally. In these pictures, you can see our students at Fit-a-thon learning about healthy life choices, where they get popsicles afterwards, as Unit pointed out. In Makerspace, our hands-on STEAM lab, working on the mental health monthly challenges in their classes, and celebrating being a kid at Trunk or Treat. We also have a new disc golf goal for the kids to play with. The biggest gap we've seen that developed over the last 2 years is not academically. It is socially and emotionally. I appreciate that the board and cabinet have focused on our students' mental health this year and made it a top priority. Because of a declining student enrollment, LAE was able to dedicate a room for social and emotional learning. This room is used 2 days a week by JFCS to provide additional counseling services to our Tigers. On Fridays, room 8 is used as a well space where Ms. Letterman runs lessons to support our students' mental health during lunch. Do you guys like that during lunch on Fridays? Yeah. They all love it. You should see the smiles as they come out. And Ms. Letterman was added this year as a mental health counselor thanks to the decisions made by the cabinet and the board. We, as I said, are creating well-rounded Tigers. We currently are working with the staff and school site council to enhance the positive character traits at LAE. The main focus this year at LAE is improving negative behavior through positive praise. We launched PBIS, Positive Behavior Intervention Supports, with the help of the Orange County Department of Education. To date, we have handed out over 3,000 ROAR cards acknowledging students' good behavior. We have weekly prizes that students can win by having their ROAR cards pulled during Mr. Larson's Tiger Time videos. Always a favorite of the kids. I saw that fist pump, Grant. Part of making a well-rounded Tiger is celebrating students when they are doing great things, not just punishing them when they are bad. Besides positive praise, we focus on giving our Tigers unparalleled opportunities. They are exposed to music, the orchestra through our partnership with Class Act and the Pacific Symphony, choir, youth center music, and of course, the amazing LAIF classes. Our community is unparalleled as well. Our FLAY and PTA continue to find ways to engage our community. Our Fit-a-thon set an all-time record, bringing in $72,000 this year. When I started 5 years ago, the goal was to beat $40,000, and we didn't think we could do it. So think about that. During a pandemic, during some of the hardest times, we set an all-time record. And minus prizes, let's face it, the kids want the prizes, every dime goes back to your students and making LAE the place to be. Our PTA is currently bringing our community together with Valentine's Day grams, which come with special spirit sticks, and planning events like Reading Challenge. We strive to make our parents feel like they know what is going on at LAE, and their feedback is valuable in moving our LAE Tigers forward. Not only do our parents take part in school site council and our ELAC teams, they also play a large role in our district advisory council and operations steering committee. We have an open door policy at LAE. Parents do not need to make an appointment. They can always come in and meet with Mr. Larson and myself at any time. And especially last year, they really lived up to what I call FUBER, because you are the free Uber. Thank you for taking your kids everywhere, including here today. What is better than one new playground? Well, how about two? LAE has a new kindergarten yard playground, which was desperately needed. We did get rid of the red fire truck, sorry. It was amazing to see how our 4th and 5th graders were disappointed to see their kindergarten playground go. We also added a playground in the main play area by the lunch tables. Since we had construction going on, we actually had all of our students TK through 3 on the same playground. So if you look at the middle picture, looking at the good and everything, this is Ava, who's in 2nd grade, and Parker, who's in TK. They would have never had a recess at LAE together if we didn't combine recess. So this is, for a lot of our families, the only time their children will ever have a recess together. Sorry, it's over. But just think about what's changed in the last 5 years I've been at LAE. The campus has a new blacktop. We've redone the parking lots. We have 3 new playgrounds in the last 4 years. And coming this summer, we have solar panels and newly painted roofs. I asked our staff for words of what they felt make a Tiger. Not only are these great keywords, it is what we teach our Tigers every day. As we instill in them the key characteristics they will need to become an eagle or a lion. ROAR is our focus this year, and it is the main thing you see when you're on our campus. Responsible. Do the right thing and pull each other up instead of being mean and pulling each other down. Observant. Look around you. What can you do to be the positive change at LAE? Action. Don't just talk about or know the right thing to do. Do it. And respectful. Be a leader and help out the entire LAE community, the students, staff, and parents. I want to thank everyone on the board, cabinet, and especially our community and staff for making the last 2 years as great as they have been for our students. Los Alamitos offered an educational experience that was unmatched by any district in the state of California. because of the dedication to our students by the school district, our amazing LAE community, and the hard work of our amazing staff, I stand before you today knowing that our Tigers are not just doing good, they're doing great. Come on, sorry the Tigers. I know it's cheesy, but it worked. They are not just they are prepared to fully take on their next grade level socially, emotionally, and academically. Together, our community proved we are a team. Together, we have pushed through this pandemic, and together we have shown the world that LAE is the place to be. Thank you very much, and let's go Tigers.
Thank you very much, Mr. Williams. Just extraordinary, and we are very pleased that you and Mr. Larson are at the helm of this amazing school, and your staff has just done great work. So we thank you very much. Anybody else on the board like to make a comment?
I would. Your leadership exemplifies excellence. Your staff exemplifies not only care, but excellence. And your community is also excellent with their huge support of you. So you are all, in my mind, blue ribbon, for sure.
Thank you so much.
There's a fight up here. So Mrs. Gattuli,
Okay. Thank
C
you.
before D.
I just want to say kudos to the entire LAE community on being recognized as the National Blue Ribbon School. It is a lot of work for the staff to inspire the children to do better and to keep trying. But without the support of the community, it doesn't happen. And this is really, truly a exemplary recognition. And I'm just very proud that you guys got it. So I just wanted to thank everybody for that. And I also want to comment about the two speakers you had. They did an excellent job. But I have been a judge at the speech contest for many years, and I'm not surprised they did an excellent job, because that is the hardest thing I ever have had to do on the board, was decide who actually wins that speech contest. So, girls, you did a fabulous job.
Mrs. Davidson.
I just want to echo the sentiments of the other board members and say that when you walk on campus at LAE, it's not surprising that you're blue ribbon, you're the best, because there's a really deep sense of family and community. Every activity that I've been at where parents are there, I mean, I've learned I come early to park because you guys just turn out in hordes to support your kids. And this only works in a pandemic when everybody comes together in a spirit of love and commitment and willingness to do hard work in the roughest of times. And to get the blue ribbon, to raise your test scores, is absolutely astounding. And every single one of you, administrators, staff, families, and most of all you kids, you need to be so proud of yourselves for doing that, for raising your test scores when a lot of kids just felt defeated. You stood up and you were leaders, and you're our heroes. So congratulations.
Mr. Fayette.
I want to thank you so much for making us all look good. The joy, the absolute community that is at LAE, every time I go there, you can just see how wonderful, and it is a community. The staff, the parents, the students, there's always such joy there. And it starts at the top with your two wonderful leaders, and it goes all the way down to the gentleman who keeps the place looking great and clean. You jumped the gun again. It was too early. I just want to say, the quality of the staff from the top to the bottom, Mr. Chu got up out of his seat to let someone else sit down that came out late. That's the quality of the people at LAE. And I can't wait to see what you do, because this year is the year of the Tiger.
Yes, it
Mr. Dr. Pulver.
It's hard to go last, but really, LAE is such a place of joy. I think, Mrs. Davidson, when you talked about a sense of family, a sense of really accepting all students, embracing one another with love. And love doesn't mean low expectations, but really that our eyes light up for one another. And I don't know a finer group of staff members, which is why I'm so grateful that we continue to recognize the dedication and the hard work of our amazing staff in the vast roles that they serve across to really serve our students and our families. But we are so proud to be able to partner with our families as well. It is our families and our students that really make LAE a bedrock in this community. And so I just want to say thank you to all of you as well. And it was a sheer joy to be able to recognize our staff for their accomplishment of the National Blue Ribbon. We did a lunch for them just this past week to celebrate their hard work and our students. It really is a tribute to all the work that you do. And we'll have a lot more to celebrate a little bit later as well. So congratulations, LAE. We love you, and you bring joy and love and life to our district. Thank you.
Mr. Williams, I believe you are still going to move forward.
I am excited to welcome Jennifer Dodson and her family, our hero of the heart. Aaron tried to get out of this, but you're up here too. What do you say about someone that deserves all the recognition that the hero of the heart symbolizes, but doesn't want any of it? Literally does not want any of it. Normally when you tell someone they are receiving Hero of the Heart, they beam with excitement, or like last year's winner, cry in the aisle of the supermarket that they're at. Immediately after I told Jen she was LA's Hero of the Heart, she said, "Please tell me I don't have to give a speech." If you know me, that brought me a huge smile, and I said, yes, you do. Jen may not like winning awards and being the center of attention, and may really dislike public speaking, but she is by far the most deserving person for this award. Jen has a son, Tucker, in 6th grade at McAuliffe Middle School, and a daughter, Charlie, in 3rd grade at LAE. Nice hat, by the way. Every year, she has been the room mom in her students' classes. Upon arriving at LAE, she was quickly convinced to help with the box tops for PTA. She then became the FLAY secretary before becoming president of FLAY for 3 years. She has increased Fit-a-thon donations every year, and it has become LAE's single biggest fundraiser. These are just a few of the things that she's brought to LAE in the 5 years that I've been there. She was the one that came up with the idea of trunk or treat. And I know you guys like getting candy. She is the one who came up with the idea of spirit sticks. She also started our newest fundraiser, Backyard Bash, in the spring. While not a board member with PTA or FLAY this year, she continues to help with every event and will drop everything if asked to help LAE. Jen is truly a great person who deserves to be LAE's Hero of the Heart. She deserves this award because she has done all this volunteer work to help our students and never wanted anything in return, especially to be Hero of the Heart. She wants every student to have the best experience at elementary school possible. Her dedication is why LAE is the place to be. Please join me in congratulating our 2021-2022 Hero of the Heart, Jennifer Dodson.
Okay. For anyone at LAE that knows me, they know this is my biggest fear right now. So please bear with my squeaky voice. I just want to say thank you to Mr. Willems and Mr. Larson for selecting me for this award. I'm truly honored. But all of those things that Mr. Willems mentioned would not be possible if it wasn't for the army of people it takes to run those successfully. So I want to take this opportunity to thank a few people. First, thank you, Mr. Willems and Mr. Larson, for always saying yes to my crazy ideas. For events and assemblies, including a Double Dare themed assembly, with the giant slip and slide, slime, and freezing cold water at 8 a.m. Also, locking both of them in Bob, our big orange box, dressed up like Thing 1 and Thing 2 for an hour and a half. Yes. And thank you to my family, my kids, Tucker and Charlie, who would wake up early to be at school by 5 a.m. to set up for events and assemblies. They would participate in that event, sit through their entire school day, and help clean up after school. They did this multiple times a year. To my daughter, Charlie, who grew up sitting under the tables at FLAY meetings with snacks and coloring books, so mom and all of her friends could come up with more crazy ideas. To my husband, who would help at all of these events and even build anything we asked him to for these events, including Bob, the big orange box, which we also locked him up in dressed up like Captain Underpants for an hour and a half. To all of Tucker and Charlie's teachers throughout the years, thank you for letting me take over holidays, class parties, and art days. Some of my favorite memories are helping in all of your classes. And lastly, my team, my mom, Army, Brittany, Heather, Autumn, Amanda. You guys are simply the best. Without you ladies, none of this would be possible. And you do make LAE the place to be. Sorry.
No problem.
Yeah.
I just want to say thank you very much for all you've done. And I know that as a parent, it's a great joy. But I also hope you realize what you are teaching your children and what you're teaching other children that see you volunteering and giving from the bottom of your heart just to give. And that is amazing lessons for our children to learn. And your children learn a lot from watching you, what you do, and also helping them participate is great too. So thank you for being the hero of our heart.
Thank you.
We're going to let Dr. Pulver go first this time.
I just, one of the things I always say is that the hallmark of this district are the people. And it's people like you who just continue to make amazing things possible for our students. When we talk about unlimited possibilities for students, we could not accomplish that with the amazing partnerships of our parents. And then I think about just something as simple that Mr. Willems was sharing about the spirit sticks that you started at LAE and just the ripple effect, because that was something that Gary has shared with other principals across the district. And to know that that really kind of started with you, and to see that this small little thing that really has a positive impact on kids and other schools as well is really powerful. So thank you for who you are and for all that you share with us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jennifer, just real quickly, we all know it takes a village to raise all the children, and it takes someone really special to embrace all the children. And just know that that is people will say to me, why is LaSalle so different, and why are you always winning awards and stuff like that? And I say, because we really all have our hands in the middle, not just the staff, the employees of the district, but the kids are there to learn and to become the best people they can. And the community support and the parental support we get, we could not do half of the things that we do if it weren't for people like you. So thank you from the bottom of our hearts.
Thank you.
Jennifer, I just want to real quickly say, I thought you did an outstanding job of speaking. And the other part of it is that for me, a truly great leader is someone who turns around and acknowledges everybody who did the work with them. That's what gets things done, is the person who knows that you don't do it alone and acknowledges the wonderful work of everyone around you. So you are an outstanding leader. Thank you.
Thank you.
And if you don't mind staying around for a few minutes, I know that we would love to take some photographs. So stick around, have your family stick around. Lots of pictures coming.
Okay.
So thank you so much. Congratulations. Well, we are just going to be all about LAE this afternoon. So, Dr. Pulver, I believe you are next.
Yes, will you join me at the podium?
I'd love to.
Do you want me to switch it or?
There's just not enough claps tonight, is there? Let's clap again. So it just brings me such pleasure and esteemed honor to be able to call up Mr. Richard Larson, but we call him Rick Larson, to the podium, because there's a few of us that want to speak a little bit about the exceptional administrator that you are. So come on up. So every year we get to recognize one administrator of the year, and we have exceptional administrators across the district, and it becomes very difficult. But what's also pretty exciting about this is it's also nominated from some of our own administrators in that process. And when we think about Rick Larson, the legacy and the impact that he has made in this district in the, I think it's been 9 years that you've been with us, is deep and wide. He started off in our district as a net specialist, working with our students with special needs and supporting students across the district, but really primarily, I believe, at Weaver and Hopkinton, if I remember correctly. And then he was a district TOSA while he was also doing that role for another school site as well. And then for the past 5 years, he's been assistant principal at LAE. And it may not seem like 5 years at LAE because time goes by fast. But he also is just someone who continues to step up and to find ways to support the district in their biggest hour of need. And when I think about back when Weaver Elementary, Dr. Robert Bergerman had passed away, and we needed to provide leadership and support to the Weaver staff and to the Weaver community, who was really hurting and in pain at that time. Just the love, the life, the grace that you provided the Weaver community it was a gift, and I can't even explain that further. And then last year, when we had to face, during this pandemic, how would we create, wanting to really provide our families 2 different opportunities, an in-person and what we called LoSal at home. And it was probably it was our largest elementary school in theory in that sense, because we had I believe it was over 1,200 students that was in the elementary portion of LoSal at home. And Rick just stepped up. And Gary, you were gracious enough to be able to say yes to allow us to borrow Rick once again to come and support all of our students and families. And if you would have seen, if you were a LoSal at home student or parent, you just saw the exceptional skills that Rick brought. His videos, we would see him till 7, 8, 9 o'clock at night making the videos for the next day. I think they toured various aspects of the world. He just is an exceptional man. And then at LAE, I know they affectionately call him sometimes as DJ Larson. He just is someone, as I shared earlier, who leads with grace, who leads with service, and really with students and our families at the heart. And he's a strong instructional leader and really advocates for all kids. I remember another story that Gary had shared with us as administrators, and I'm not going to share that because I'm going to leave that for him to share. But I want to congratulate, and a few others want to speak on behalf to recognize Mr. Larson as our Administrator of the Year.
This is the only part that I don't need to read a speech, because I remember when Rick and I first started, and we both had no clue what we were doing, I'll be honest with you. But what we wanted to do is we wanted to build a community, and with sitting there and planning, I said, what do you like to do? And he says, DJ. And that's how DJ Larson was born. And there's not a kid that's come through LAE, even if they're currently in the high school, that does not know him as DJ Larson. But truly the power that Rick had is being able to step out of his role as assistant principal and go to Weaver and lead a staff through a very tough time. And last year, we had students isolated from friends for the first time ever. And he made these videos, and if you haven't seen them, think of Tiger Tales, but like 10 minutes long. And I remember his one where he's touring South Carolina, and he's teaching the kids about South Carolina, but for the first time, students had something that binded them together, even though they were at home staring at a screen by themselves. And that's truly the power of Rick. He's somebody that brings people together. He's somebody that brings a community together. We could not have built the community at LAE without somebody like Rick. And it's truly a testament that we as a unified school district realize that sometimes the best talent is the assistant principals that we have working in the background, and to be able to honor assistant principals, but especially DJ Larson, is just amazing. I couldn't have done my job the last 5 years without him, and I couldn't imagine a better person to be our administrator of the year.
Good evening. What a night for LAE, or afternoon. Kids, amazing singing. That was amazing. That's a really difficult song, so that was really great. Staff, parents, students, to be able to be recognized as a Title I Blue Ribbon Achievement School is really something that's special. And like I said a lot this tonight, is you can't do that without great leadership. And we're honoring one of our really great leaders. It says a lot for Rick to be recognized in a district where we have a lot of great leaders. As Gary had said, too, that role of support, not only has Rick supported, but he's stepped out of a supporting role and been able to adapt and overcome and be by himself when he needed to step in at Weaver, when he needed to step in at Lozelle at home. So on behalf of Human Resources, we want to congratulate Rick on an amazing job, and would love to come out on Fridays and hear some more DJing.
Well, I'm just going to call you Mr. Larson, if that's okay. So I just want to say, Rick, thank you very much for all you've done. And we were all together when this announcement was given to you, and the joy and shock that were in your face really showed what a humble man you are in not even recognizing the magnificent things you've done and that you totally deserve this. So thank you for being the humble, wonderful leader that you are, and we're very grateful to have you. And so I get to present you with the presents. So first of all, we have a lovely certificate signed by the whole board and Dr. Pulver. And a lovely box.
Yeah.
Thank you. I believe it is your box. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Please.
Yeah.
Oh, please.
Thank you. Wow. What an evening. What an evening. Thank you so much for everyone coming out here. I'm not going to wing it. Here we go. Madam President, esteemed members of the board, Superintendent Pulver, members of Executive Cabinet, students and staff members from LAE and across the district on YouTube. Hey, you guys. It is an absolute honor and privilege to accept this award today. When I became an administrator 5 years ago, my goal was to lead with kindness, to close the achievement gap, to know each student by name, and to be a difference maker at LAE. Little did I know that my goals would spread out into being an intern principal at Weaver, or leading over 1,200 students in an online school composed of 6 different elementary schools. It's been a privilege to serve these schools because in LaSalle, we have a belief that we are truly better together. Our core values drive us to see greatness with each interaction. When COVID-19 threatened our vision for student success, our entire leadership and teaching community sprang into action to create what we lovingly call LaSalle at Home. The story of Los Al Home has many heroes, and as grateful as I am to be here tonight, I want you to know that in my heart, I know that so many of you are equally as deserving of such recognition. As for the heroes in my personal life, I'd like to invite my wife and daughter Olive up to the podium. Get the close-up. Yeah, get the close-up, get the close-up. To my wife, Mary, and my daughter, Olive, thank you so much. You've helped me through the most unprecedented times. I couldn't have done this without you. Thank you for being there for me every single day. I love you. I want to thank Dr. Andrew Pulver and Mrs. Andrea Reed for your encouragement and mentorship that's empowered me to embrace creativity and lead with authenticity at LAE and Los Al at Home. It's incredible what you can accomplish when someone believes in you, and I'm so grateful that you called on me to do this work. To the all-star staff at LAE, yeah. And what I call the super team, all 47 of the teachers from Los Al at Home, those people that took a risk and joined us in the online school. Thank you for your passion and courage. You finished strong and you did incredible work. My sincere gratitude goes out to the site principals and everyone at the district office who contributed so much to the success of not only LAE, but Los Al at Home as well. A personal thank you goes out to, obviously, Principal Williams, my mentor, Dr. Kenneth Lepore, who was there side by side to lead Los Al at Home, Melissa Davis, Dr. Dan Bennett, Danielle Grissom, and Armando Gomez, who I don't know if he's here tonight, but he's amazing. All of these people have gone to extraordinary lengths and sacrificed so much to ensure that all of our students are learning and thriving each and every day. And last but not least, I want to thank the students and parents that I've had the privilege to serve across this district. Thank you for showing up and taking risks to become a little bit better each day. You continue to inspire me to do great things, and it's an honor to accept this award on your behalf. Thank you so much.
I believe we have one more item before we take a really short recess. And so, Dr. Pulver.
Yes. I'll do it from here. Yeah. So tonight we just wanted to, if you thought that we approved the personnel report, it's because we are introducing one of our new hires, and it's always important to have the board approve their hire before we introduce them. You might have already seen her in action tonight, but we are pleased to be able to announce that we've been able to hire a communications and public information officer by the name of Miss Nicole Pichardo. So Nicole, will you come on up while I talk a little bit about you? Let's give her a Los Al welcome. So we are so fortunate that we were able to find Nicole to take on this new role for us. As you know, this was a position that we had in a little bit different format when Bob Osman was here for numerous years as our videographer and our communications TOSA, and being able to elevate that role in this title. We had a very rigorous selection process, and Nicole brings to us over 20 years of breadth of experience in communications and public relations, particularly with school districts. She's worked at the county as the communications manager for the past several years with Orange County Department of Ed, who really leads probably a top-notch communications department and supports all districts throughout the county. And then prior to that, about 5 years or more, working in Brea, really in a similar role. They called it a different title, but really serving as a way to help enhance communication. And one of the things that we know, no matter what we do, communication is always going to be a goal and always an area that we can continue to improve and enhance. You've probably seen even some of our social media has been a little bit dormant since Bob has left, and Nicole's going to be help picking some of that back up as well. But Nicole's really a leader across the state in her area as well. It's CalSPRA, I think is the name of the organization that really is just the California School Public Relations Association. She's the chair for the Inland Empire in Orange County and leads across the state as well. And so I'm going to let you introduce your family a little bit more about what are the things you like to. If I take everything, you won't have anything to speak about. But her lovely family is here. She lives locally. She was sharing with us yesterday. Was her first day, and she got to drop her child off at school and come to work within 6 minutes. That sure beats the commute to the county. So just lives right, very, very close by. So awesome. Nicole, we want to give you a Los Al welcome. Come on. Yeah.
Thank you. I will be brief, but thank you all so much. I've been here for 2 days, and honestly, I live around in here in this community, and I have just the passion, the people, the kindness, everything that I've heard today just resonates here with everybody here. And I just can't wait to tell the story. That really is this position. It's a brand ambassador for the district. It's a storyteller. And so I'm here to tell all of the amazing, wonderful things that we're doing here in this community. We're going to be loud. We're going to tell it loud because it needs to be told loud across the community, across Orange County, and across the state. So I'm really excited to do that. So thank you for the warm welcome. I do have with me my family today. I have my little one. This is Gia. She's 4. She'll be 5 actually this month. And this is Luca. He's 7. And then my husband, who's filming over here, my husband Eric, over here too. Yeah, this is just such a great blessing for our family. So thank you so much. I'm super excited to get out and tell this wonderful story and really be able to just hopefully bring this added element. It's important work that we do. It's important that we tell this story, and I'm just excited to be the one to do it. So thank you so much.
So we're going to put Nicole to work right away. And I believe Mrs. D'Angelo, will Nicole be taking the photos, or will Mrs. D'Angelo be taking the photos?
Well, since she's going to we're going to take her photo? We will
okay.
we'll
She's
do
not
it
going to
tonight.
do a selfie? Okay. So we will take a very short recess to do photos, and then we'll come back for public comment.
So we'd like to take a picture of LAE chorus, our students that did the flag, and our student speakers, and then LAE staff, and our hero of the heart, and Rick, and Nicole. I hope I got that all off of my head. But we'll start off with LAE chorus. And when we're done, they're
part of our meeting. So I am now going to go back to item 4, and that is public comments, closed session items. The board welcomes input from the public. This is the opportunity for the community members to address the board on closed session items only. Public comments on other agenda items are not listed on the agenda will occur during open session at 6:30. Persons wishing to address the board should complete a speaker request card. Each speaker is limited to a maximum of 3 minutes. I have 11 cards. Is everybody okay with keeping it at 11 minutes? I mean, 3 minutes, not 11 minutes. 3 minutes. Public comment is limited to a total of 30 minutes. That's why I asked. Comment cards can be submitted to the district office anytime after 9 a.m. and throughout the day of the board meeting. They will also be accepted at the start of the board meeting. A speaker may not relinquish his or her time to another. When addressing the board, speakers are requested to address the board from the podium, state their name, and adhere to the time limit. The board will not take action or discuss any item not appearing on the posted agenda and cannot immediately respond to public comments, especially on closed session items. Speakers are cautioned that under California law, no person is immune from liability for making intentionally false or defamatory comments regarding any person simply because those comments are made in public meeting. Thank you, and I will tell you I am terrible at pronouncing names. So if I don't get it right, please feel free to correct me. Our first public comment will come from Barbara Farrell.
I'm going to ask that Steve Miller go first because he has to pick up his child.
I did not hear.
First, because I need to pick up my daughter. Is that okay?
Oh.
I'm not relinquishing.
Okay, so I am, so what card am I looking for? Tara Farrell?
Number 3. Tara Farrell want to release as well?
Steve, you're next.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Good evening. Steve Miller, live in Seal Beach, go to McGaw. There's a group of students who want their message heard and they don't feel comfortable coming here, so I'm going to read it. I believe my words can only give others a small piece of experience. There are not enough words to properly convey my pain, only to describe the events itself, especially people from outside the communities that I am part of. Before my sexual orientation, I am a person of color. I am a black, non-conforming, non-binary person to specify. The way I'm treated in general for my skin color and how it took a week for it to become a problem with the first friend I made here within the first year at Los Al was my first impression. When I heard that the normalization of both racial and LGBT plus slurs are prevalent here, I believed it. These experiences continue to the point that I no longer believe that this was solely a problem at home, but these issues were bred, tolerated, and ignored at Los Al. Hearing about the harassment of fellow LGBT members spiked concerns for my well-being. I know from my experience that my race would come in hand with experience, with response if I were to defend myself physically or verbally. So I took upon myself who was in power, and he told me that there was no issues of that sort in the school. That's really all I needed to know about not only the school, but the community. This is clearly an issue in the community in general, which I have zero doubt that will change immediately. I ask for awareness of all minority groups, socially and educationally wise, on the history and treatment of all minority groups. It should not take a child using slurs for them to be sent to counseling when they will then learn about the history of minority groups in order to ensure the safety of other groups. I want to include this because it was not part of my initial message, but today I was splashed water on by some boys who found it to be an issue that me and my friend were holding hands and were comfortable with each other. It was evident that she was gender conforming, and they proceeded to whistle at us despite throwing the water. Again, I had to restrain myself from saying something about it because I know how it would look on behalf, and if I were to say something about it, given the demographic of the group versus me and my friend. That's it. I'm a firm believer that if you're not actively helping people who are in need, then you're hurting them. And that's the reason that I chose to come here when I was approached, if you I'd like to read something. And I think it's really sad that there's kids who are treated this way and they don't feel comfortable coming here. And just because we haven't been coming to the board meetings doesn't mean we're not watching at home. I don't even want to come at 6:30 anymore. Like, I hear the hateful rhetoric, and it's really disappointing. And I don't know what the answer is. I feel for you guys having listened to some of this, But I think that something needs to be done. Like something needs to be done for our kids, for our community. This isn't a free reign to come up here and just speak hate and teach hate at home. And I mean, there's no doubt in my mind that this stuff happens. Like we hear the parents that, say some of these things. So thank you. Have a good evening.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. Mrs. Farrell, are you good now?
Just a reminder, we do need to wear our face masks even if we're speaking at the mic, just to be in compliance.
Yeah. My name is Barbara Farrell, and I live in Los Alamitos, and my granddaughter goes to school in Los Alamitos. President Hill, honorable board members, Dr. Pulver, it's good to see you guys again. As our district continues to move towards restorative practices in student discipline, we're asking that you consider the safety of all of our children. The boardroom is no longer safe for all of our children. And therefore, I've been asked to read this for a child who's hurting. The boardroom is no longer safe. I am 10 years old, and I attend elementary school in Los Alamitos. I love my friends. I love my teachers. My favorite subjects are STEM. I am gender fluid. I have not felt one gender since I was 3 years old. Kids at school tease me. I'm scared every day to go to the bathroom. Kids stare and push me out. Other kids at schools have thrown pebbles at me. I try to explain my pronouns, and they don't understand. This year has been the hardest. My family and I watch the board meetings. The angry words parents say at the board meetings. I hear the same words in the playground. These angry words impact everyone. Kids even make fun of my friends and call them gay because they're friends with me. Please keep me and my friends safe. Everyone belongs at school, but I don't belong if my identity is not accepted. Please help this child. I appreciate the work that you've done so far. Proud of the school district, and I know that you can do this better. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Farrell. I now have Tara Farrell.
Good evening, board. I'm Tara Faragian. Farrell is my maiden name, so it's still true.
Oh, it's what was on the card.
Just sharing. Thank you, esteemed board, Dr. Pulver. I too am here to speak for someone who doesn't feel safe to come to this space and share how they're feeling in our community. And so I hope I can do justice for this student's words. And as our district continues to move towards restorative practices and student discipline, we ask that you consider the safety of all the children, and the boardroom is found to be no longer safe for our youth, and this is one of the stories. So I feel like there's a lot of acknowledgments involving behavior of bigotry, such as insulting. However, I feel like LOSAL has an issue involving the lack of representation of LGBT people of color. I have seen members identifying as queer or LGBT that mistreat people of color, alienating them from the LGBT community. I have experienced rude comments by another LGBT student who is white because of my race. A friend of mine that is also a person of color has told me she experienced the same treatment from that same person. The same person has treated students attending the school of lower income with manipulation and little respect. I think the issue that white LGBT still hold privileged positions because of their race should be brought up. The experiences of LGBT people of color differ heavily from a white person's experience. Whenever bringing up queer history, people of color and their impact is never brought up because the white Americanized perspective of the LGBT community is the expectation and the only acceptable view. I dislike this feeling of alienation heavily and makes me feel disconnected from the LGBT community because of my race. We need to address the classism and racism that white LGBTs have against people of color of the LGBT community. I hope that I could put their words in our hearts and our minds as we are learning to navigate such a transitional and developmental time. There was a report that said in this 10 years, the rapid development that has happened in our society is equivalent to 50 years. So the amount of change that is on your plate to help our community adapt to is tremendous. But I hope you feel that there's community here to support.
Thank you very much. I have 3 people on one card. So it's Joanna, Melinda, and Reverend Dodge.
That's 2 people, Johan, Melinda, both Reverends Dodge.
Okay, I'm sorry.
But I am not my wife. I am Johan, or Reverend Dodge. Some of this will sound familiar, and sometimes hearing things more than one time helps it to resonate for us. So if it sounds familiar, let it be familiar and don't dismiss it, please. As our district continues to study student discipline, particularly restorative practices, I speak in concern of how we handle student discipline in our schools and as a district. Some students shared they no longer feel safe in this boardroom. Some have never felt safe in our schools. And so we are here this evening to share their stories, and I'm sharing one of their stories. I am a queer student in my senior year of high school. Since my freshman year, 2018, I've experienced continuous accounts of harassment, discrimination, and unacceptable treatment for simply being an outwardly transgender student. I have been openly trans since 2016, and have only once I moved to California before starting high school did I start experiencing some of the worst discrimination from students and staff I only thought was possible in movies. When I first enrolled, my parents and I asked about if we'd be able to change my name in the school system without it being legal. My counselor told me that wasn't possible, which I later discovered wasn't true. I have been consistently misgendered by teachers who are aware of the pronouns I use for myself, as well as had my name purposefully mispronounced, which drove me to start signing my work with my full name instead of a nickname. This barely scratches the surface of what I have experienced in this district. I've never felt truly safe at the school and do not feel safe being by myself on campus or speaking up about my transgender identity because of the abhorrent lack of safety measures in place for queer students. Thank you.
Thank you. Heather Roberts.
Hi guys, I'm Heather Roberts. You maybe saw my name before. Thank me for my input. I'm here to read a letter from a student. I'll just start it because I've never spoken. I'm really nervous. Let's see. I'm a freshman who changes at Los Hal's gender neutral one-person bathroom by the boys' locker room PE. I am far from the only student choosing to do this. Very frequently, our only accommodation is locked shut, and multiple staff members have claimed not to have keys despite working in the football office directly across from it. The failure to keep this bathroom open has made me and multiple other students late to class, and I've even been walked in on by staff failing to check and see if it was occupied. Last Thursday, February 3rd, 2022, I was stuck outside of these bathrooms again until another staff member walked by. Someone I knew had the key. I asked if he had it, and he berated me for having a rude tone while speaking to him, as if being upset at being locked out again was my own fault. LAUSD needs to do better for their trans students. And that's all they wrote, and I'd like to agree. I don't think you guys are doing enough to protect our students. They're suffering, and you're gonna wait till someone gets hurt or hurt themselves or others, and clearly there's not much we can do about the parents, but you could do more to inform our community, our students, teachers, parents, so it's not a taboo subject. This is people's lives. Their kids, their babies don't feel safe here. So I want you to take that into consideration. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Rebecca, Uriatia? You're Tia?
That's my maiden name.
Everybody's got their maiden names.
Yes, yes.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Dr. Rebecca Romo. I am a clinical psychologist and mother of 2 here in Los Alamitos, and my pronouns are she, her, hers. I am here to address the need for direct limit setting and, when called for, disciplinary actions towards anyone creating a hateful and intolerant community for any student here at Los Al, in their schools, but also here in these board meetings. Open forums for free speech should not equate with allowing for room for hateful speech and intimidating actions. Otherwise, hateful intentions win, and harm is perpetuated in the silence. This is what we have now: district schools and a boardroom where already marginalized students do not feel safe to speak up. I am here to read a letter from one of the students at the high school. My first 3 years of high school were spent in fear and concern over my physical safety. As a transgender male, going from female to male, I had been called slurs, been called inhuman, and had been threatened. I have never felt safe at this school. I have never felt fully capable of being myself and being true to whatever that means. In February 2020, I was made aware of senior boys planning to hurt me. They were adamant about letting me, or as they would say, it, know that it was not welcome at their school. Had I gone to use the bathroom that day at lunch, I would have left at the very best in tears, and the worst with a black eye. This terrifies me. I am not safe. I will never be safe as a male. This threat is very real for me, and it is very real for a lot of others at Los Al. We need to be safe. The measures taken for our safety are superficial, and there is no accountability taken and no repercussions for anyone who threatens our chance at education. We are invisible because we are ignored. We are not wanted because we are not their definition of normal. What is it going to take to be treated like a human being in my own town? How long will it take to be wanted and treated right? Sorry. This is why I say my pronouns when I come up and I speak to you. It is not for all of you who are cisgendered. If you don't know what that means, look it up. It is for this student, for him and them and her. It is for all. So they know, I know they exist. So they know I am willing to learn, make mistakes, and try something new. So they know they matter. I hope you will find ways to speak up for them too.
Thank you. Catherine Yee? Catherine Yee?
Hello, everyone. My name is Catherine Ye. My preferred pronouns.
I
It's
apologize.
okay. My preferred pronouns are she, her, and hers. Dear Dr. Pulver, Andrea Reed, and our esteemed board members, I am here, like all of us, because I love our community. I love our students. However, the boardroom is no longer safe for them. I want to remind us that 6 months ago, LaSalle students, the majority speaking were LGBTQ plus youths, came to the board meeting and they shared their stories of harassment and discrimination. 6 months ago. Last week, an Instagram account popped up. My oldest shared this with me. It shared stories of transphobia and homophobia of our students. The accounts of the stories of our youth with distressing detail of persistent acts of discrimination and harassment. And I looked up today, there were over 20 stories on there. We may not be at every board meeting because it's hard to be here. I watch every board meeting, and the board meeting recently have been filled with community members that have spoken explicitly against inclusive practices for our LGBTQ plus youths. I think about listening at home and how overwhelmed I feel, and I think about you all being here as well. Our parents, the ones that are here, the ones at home, and our students, they're scared. Even the ones that are angry. And the things they say, there's a clear misunderstanding around gender, gender identity, gender expression, pronouns, sex, and sexual identity. And that it's clear that they're not aware of the state legislation on LGBTQ plus inclusion. I hope that as a district that focuses on education, that we educate our communities. That when we think about trans students and access to names and gender changes, that's by law. It's called the Student Success and Opportunity Act. And that when a trans student shares information with us, by law, we are not allowed to disclose that to other people. Safe Place to Learn Act, that ensures that all personnel, all of us who work with youth, are supported and learn about legislation to ensure that educators can provide a safe space. That is supposed to be provided every other year. Fair Education Act, it ensures that every individual, including our LGBTQ plus communities, are seen in K through 12 schools.
Thank you very much. Jessica Rieger.
Hello, thank you. You did pronounce my name correctly. My name is Jessica Riegert. I teach at the high school. I'm also the advisor to the GSA Club, which this year they've renamed the Gender Sexuality Alliance Club. And I am here also to read a student story, especially considering our work towards restorative justice and wanting to make sure that students are not just aware of why the things that they say are harmful, but then also making sure that students who receive that information are protected and feel that they are protected on a campus. I am here because the students don't feel safe coming here, which as a teacher, it breaks my heart, as I know it hurts every single one of you every time you've heard it. So this is a student. I'd like to turn my attention to those who are here out of concern regarding students' exposure to the LGBTQIA community. I'm a queer student who attends Los Alamitos High School, and I want to preface this by sharing how much of an impact a supportive teacher can have in a student's life. I am unapologetically out, but nevertheless, I vividly remember a time when I had an unending fear that someone would discover that I'm not straight and try to use that against me. Would people view me differently? Would this place a target on my back? Before I came out, many of my days were filled with these concerns. Honestly, some still are. I was having such a day when I noticed a poster on a wall in one of my classes with a pride flag with the words, "Everyone is welcome here." Something like this may appear insignificant, but even just an accepting poster indicating that you have an accepting teacher and, in turn, are supported for just being you is a massive comfort to many of our LGBTQIA students. It certainly was for me. And it immediately made me feel better. I've spoken to students who are afraid to be themselves around their families out of fear of how they might react. I've spoken to students who are unable to accept and love themselves because they have grown up in an environment that doesn't allow it. That they can't change something that they simply can't change something that's not about, that's simply just a part of them. Internalizing other people's hate of something you can't change about yourself has never had a positive effect on one's mental health or on well-being. Teachers who are openly supportive of the LGBTQI community not only allow students to feel validated and accepted in certain cases, but can even save lives. By trying to shelter your children from your life, you're not doing them any favors. You can ignore the LGBTQIA community, but that doesn't change the fact that they exist. We have every right to be ourselves. We are not confused. We are not messed up. We are valid. We exist. I recognize that many parents are simply doing what they feel is in their child's best interest, and I respect that.
Thank you very much. Drew Sells.
Hi, my name is Drew Sells. I'm here in hopes of becoming a better ally for all of the various diversities that we have on our campus and trying to do as much as I possibly can to support many who aren't feeling safe to come here and do so themselves by speaking up. And so I'd like to read you a story that was given to me from one of the many different people who don't feel safe to come here to say it themselves. Give me 1 second, let's see. It's very hard for me to read without my glasses, and I can't wear my glasses with my mask on. So I hear lots of people joking about gay people throughout the school. A lot of people do it in class, and the teachers do very little about it. The people I was sitting by in my English class last semester were making a lot of jokes about gay people. And when I told them to stop, they ignored me and started to treat me differently when they realized I was queer. We were watching The Great Gatsby, and the boys kept joking about a scene saying that two men were having sex, and that they kept yelling about it, with the teachers doing nothing about it. My ex faced a lot of transphobia in 8th grade. They would get out the bathroom, and people would call him slurs just for existing. An old friend would get called slurs for being a lesbian. The staff at school does very little about these things, so I stopped bothering to tell them. And so I'd like to share that is the theme of a lot of what I've heard as a teacher, is that when people come to me knowing that I am an ally, they know they can come to me, but they also know they can't come to certain staff because in general, they will be outed and then targeted. And rather than actually get any sort of restorative justice, what should happen boomerangs back at them, and they are doubly victimized. And so I think that's a really important piece of the puzzle that we need to find a better way to look at it. Okay. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Mossy Kennedy.
Hi, I'm Mossy Kennedy and I teach at the high school. My preferred pronouns are he and him. And I'd first like to acknowledge the irony that a school board chamber is not a safe place for students, and students feel that. I'd also like to address our current disciplinary system that alienates a significant segment of our students. Our LGBTQ students and their accounts capture daily threats and intimidation. At times, these students endure violence. These students are not enjoying the school's protection. Our disciplinary system fails them. If we are to give meaning to the phrase social and emotional well-being, we need to look after the social and emotional well-being of these students. These students are alienated at a level that makes their connection to school tenuous. Our WASC report that we're in the midterm visit of at the moment has a section devoted to student safety, and it designates that all students need to have a safe learning environment. Our current disciplinary system consistently and systematically minimizes the plight of these students and makes them invisible. These students do not feel that our system respects and protects them. Thanks.
Thank you. And our last card is Alana Valquez. Thank you. Did I get the first name right?
Yeah. Honorable board members of the Los Alamitos Unified School District. Due to the shifting of implementing restorative justice, the safety of students within this boardroom must be considered. But my name is Alana Vasquez, and I'm currently a sophomore at Los Alamitos High School. I was here last year in support of the resolution to adopt ethnic studies course. The adoption of ethnic studies is a tremendous step in the right direction and was made possible by the inspiring students who use their voices to make positive change. Currently, I am unable to take the course, but I feel as though it has brought a lot of students to see representation of their own culture in a positive light. Not just mentioned or portrayed negatively, but portrayed in a way that inspires. But today I would like to discuss the racial disparities and the discrimination against all groups that are in the minority. This includes people of color, those under the LGBT umbrella, and those who don't conform to typical societal standards. The discrimination these groups undergo, primarily from other students, must be known and changed. For example, I have been labeled many slurs by my peers. This is not isolated and should not be a normal occurrence. Many of my classmates have also been in similar situations, with instances that downplay my intelligence due to my ethnicity to jokes inferring that I am involved with drugs is derogatory. These are typically coupled with more jokes surmising that I have illegally crossed the border. But these occurrences take place at school and off campus as well. In addition, the recent wave of speakers and a pattern throughout the board meetings is the influx of animosity targeted towards specific groups or students. I fully support the notion to freely speak, but these claims should not be malicious or intolerant on either party. For the parents, please advocate and say your comments in a way that is not discriminatory towards specific groups or students. Recently, I feel as though we have been more divided. During these unprecedented times, we need to stick together more than ever. With the effect of COVID on learning, many of us are still adjusting to the old dynamic. We must be conscious of what's going on around us and support each other while navigating the rapidly changing world we live in. Students, we hold so much more power than you believe. Let's use it to leave a powerful impact and inspire the next generation. We are the future. Now will you stand by and watch or join us in the fight for change? No matter your position, you will witness the power of students.
Thank you very much. With that, I'm going to close public comment, and we will go into closed session. Dr. Pulver, was there something you wanted to mention?
I just think it is powerful for us to be able to hear from our students and voices when we talk about inclusion and the restorative practices. It's complex. We absolutely have more work to do. I think that's why it has risen to one of the top priorities. And I just want to encourage our students and our staff, don't be silent. It's important for us to hear these stories. One of the things we talk about is critical that individuals have at least one caring adult that they can go to. So if it's your social studies teacher, if it's your English teacher, if it's the counselor, and then that teacher or that staff member or the assistant principal, et cetera, should be able to also be an individual to support, because the only way to make change is to deal with the issues that when they come forward to us. And as a public school, all should be welcome. We really are charged to welcome with open arms all of our students and provide the same dreams that the parents and their guardians have for all kids. So we definitely have areas to improve within inclusive practices, and we really are a reflection of our society that is in this unique time that we're starting to see change, but the change also isn't as accepting as quickly as possible. So we'll continue to work on that as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much.